If you didn't see yesterday's episode, we came across on the SS Badger from Manitowoc to Ludington. What a cool ship. It is the National Historic Landmark, one of only two mobile landmarks in the U.S., the other being the cable cars in San Francisco. So very, very cool. Coal-fired, steam-powered, last of its kind. Great crossing. So check it out. If you've ever done that, it ticked off a bucket list item for us, and was a good time going across there. So there's some scattered, strong to possibly severe storms in the forecast today along the route. We'll see what we get. Any luck, we hit the timing right and never have to deal with it. So far, we've got bluebird skies. Great start to the day. 78 degrees, so warm and muggy this morning, but it can be nothing like the last 2 days. Although yesterday on the boat was very nice. It had to be in the 60s coming across there. It felt very good after getting broiled coming across Wisconsin on Monday. We didn't shoot any video of the busting across Wisconsin in the heat on Monday, so called yesterday day one. This is day two of the trip. So the first stop this morning is the Arcadia turnout, scenic turnout. It's right along the M22. We got about another 45 minutes of riding to get up there. And it's one of the highest points overlooking Lake Michigan. There's also a 120-step tower that we're going to go climb, so we should get some great views of the lake and the surrounding country. Okay, so we're pretty early in our journey up through Michigan, but so far, kudos to the Department of Transportation here. The roads are in excellent shape. Apparently they have about as many deer as we do, because we've seen quite a few dead deer along the way, so trying to keep our eyes peeled this morning. It's just a beautiful morning for a ride. Loving every minute of it. We're rolling through the town of Manistee. I'm going to pick up the M22 just north of town here. That'll head out and follow the lakeshore up in the Sleeping Bear Dunes and a point to the west of Traverse City. Should be a beautiful ride. So look at Lake Michigan. Nice little sand beach. This is Lake Road. We're kind of paralleling the M22 right now. Nice canopy of trees overhanging the road. Continuing up Lakeshore Road. Credit to Google Maps on this one. I'm actually running a combination of maps today, but first off, look at this tunnel of trees down here. It's not exactly the narrow tunnel of trees up north, but very beautiful. So anyway, I was running a combination of maps. As I put out on a video earlier this year for how I do my trip planning, I use a combination of Google My Maps for planning, and I use a layer for each day. And that allows me to see a visual for the whole trip. Then when it comes time to take off on the trip, I export each day into a KML file. And that KML file imports seamlessly into Rever. And then I use Rever for follow the trackline navigation. Works out really well. This Google My Maps is not really intended for navigation. It's more of a planning tool. So I'm running Rever on my phone, kind of mounted to my bars, with the route for the day. The other thing I did was I was putting in the sort of the next interesting destination into Google Maps, and I'm running that on CarPlay. And it picked a slightly different route up to the Arcadia Overlook, where we're headed here. And in this case, it kind of hit it out of the park. So I think it's better than the more inland route I had previously laid out. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. This is a winner. Well, so if you bring the ferry across and you're headed north from Ludington, make sure you include this Lakeshore Road on your route. Very nice little surprise down here. It's 35-mile-an-hour speed limit through here, but what a beautiful road. Get some glimpses of the lake, and it kind of just rolls and twists through a combination of trees and look like mostly summer homes, maybe summer permanent homes, kind of hard to tell, but just a beautiful area. Rolling through Onakama, I think we're I'm reading the map right, about a dozen miles away from the Arcadia Overlook here, but what a cool town. There's a massive bay out here. Just a beautiful spot along Lake Michigan. Here's a look at the bay. Some looks between the houses here. Twisting our way up a hill. This is kind of fun. Nice sweeping corners. We are on the M22, heading north. This is a pure Michigan byway. So it's kind of hilly back in here on the M22, south of Arcadia. See a bluff. Maybe that's the inspiration point where we're heading up to. Seems about right based on the mileage here. Nice little bay and wetlands here. Arcadia Lake. Working our way up the hill here. We're inside of a half a mile to the Arcadia Overlook and Inspiration Point. Here's the view from the Arcadia Overlook. And a whole bunch of steps up to our right here. We're going to go check it out. Not sure if the video does this justice, but there's a lot of steps. Allegedly 120, so we'll see. See at the top if we make it. Well, we made it up the stairs. There was a bunch of them. I don't know if you can see down behind us, but yeah, we're a ways up here. Pretty good views, except it's very hazy today. Not too bad on an overall climb. What do you think of the ride so far today?
It's been a very nice ride. Pretty.
I like that Lakeshore Drive.
Yeah.
The M22, winding through the curves we got on it. Pretty cool. So, highly recommend.
Yep.
If you're following our route to check it out sometime.
2 thumbs up.
All right. Back down the steps and down the road we go. I think the next stop is the Point Betsie Lighthouse. I'll tell you more about that when we get on the road. Yeah, you can get a sense for the stairway here. All right, back on the M22. We got a short 15 miles to our next stop, the Point Betsie Lighthouse. This sits on the southern shore, right out on a gravel bar. It's one of the most scenic and photographed lighthouses in Michigan. And on the southern entrance of the so-called treacherous Manitou Passage. So let's go check it out. Boy, on a less hazy day, there would be some spectacular views from the tops of these hills. She's a pretty hazy one today. Hope that doesn't turn into some big storms later in the day. The town of Alberta. Crossing over Betsie Lake. This has been a pretty cool area of Michigan. Never been down this far south from Traverse City before. I highly recommend. Beautiful area. Beautiful roads. It's not to like. All right. This is Point Betsie Road. A dead-end road that'll take us out to the lighthouse. This is the Point Betsie Lighthouse, established 1858. Let's go check it out. There's the lighthouse up on the hill up there. Nicely kept grounds. And we were both just commenting on how some of the dunes behind us here look a little bit like you're on a different planet. Kind of cool to look at.
Named to have a dune buggy.
I'm pretty sure that's disallowed out there. But yes, it would be fun.
Yep.
I'm sure we're going to see quite a few more dunes, especially up at the Sleeping Bear Dunes, very tall sand hills that you don't want to walk down because you might spend hours getting back up, and getting rescued, rather expensive. There's some warning signs there. More on that later. All right, let's go take a look at the outhouse, the lighthouse. Never mind, we don't need the outhouse. So there's a good look at the Point Betsie Lighthouse. We'll check out the beach down here and hit the road. This is the shot of the Point Betsie Lighthouse from the beach. Pretty cool. Back at the bikes, looks like we ran them up on the beach here. Kinda, not far away, but pretty sure we can get out without getting stuck. That was a nice little stroll around the Point Betsie Lighthouse. Picked up a little bit of the history there, going back to 1858. So we're back on the M22, heading north, up towards the sleeping Bear Dunes. There's along Crystal Lake here. Pretty big inland lake, not far offshore. A pretty shallow shoreline. The docks go way out. A little better look at Crystal Lake. It's a big lake. Very big lake. Holy cow. They got some storm clouds brewing over our left shoulder. I don't know if we're gonna outrun this or not. Kind of came out of nowhere. At some point, take a look at radar and see what we're getting into. Seems a little brighter ahead, but it is getting gloomy out here. Look at the clouds moving up here. It's moving in fast. I think we may need to find some shelter here, or at the very least get rain gear on. We are in a severe thunderstorm warning, trying to duck down to a little town that's 4 miles away, and not sure if we're going to make it before we get pelted or not. Kind of surrounded by pretty bad looking cell. Just as soon not ride through it. All part of the adventure. So we are under a severe thunderstorm warning. Not sure what's coming. I'm going to pull up my phone and take a look here, but we beat it for a little town, and wouldn't you know, we found a little pavilion in a park, and our bikes fit right in. So we are under shelter and going to wait this one out. All right, it is coming down now, and the heavy stuff isn't even here yet. This was a good one to get out of. Rain's one thing, but there was some pretty heavy wind, and who knows what's in it for hail. I don't mind riding through a little heavy rain, but the severe thunderstorm warning, I'll pass. We found this just in the nick of time. Just hanging out. There's lunch across the street, but yeah, we're not going over there just yet. Alright, back on the road. Waiting out that storm was a good deal. For the most part, it's blown through. We're going to go up the road 20 minutes and grab some lunch. Yeah, it was a good one to wait out. Blew pretty good. Rained really hard. Never did see the hail, at least at some point. Somewhere along there, it was hailing, quarter-size hail, and 60-mile-an-hour gusts, so we didn't need to be riding in that. Alright, back on the M22. We're going to go up and check out a place called the Shipwreck Cafe for lunch. It's 4.8 stars on Google, so let's go see. Rolling into the village of Empire. Deer on the right here. Kind of bikes. Should have got some video of this before we started. This is the Shipwreck Cafe. The sandwich is the bomb. I see what it gets 4.8 stars on Google. Good. The wrap, a little less impressed, but
Tastes good. It just has a taco shell, and I was kind of hoping the wrap would be like a sun-dried or, something with flavor.
1 out of 2 ain't bad.
No.
Alright, we're going to way up through the trees and take this loop through the dunes, check them out a little bit. We do a little bit of a short stay there. We've got some time to make up after losing an hour plus to the rain. Alright, this is Scenic Drive in the Sleeping Bear Dunes. Pretty drive through here. So this is one of the lookouts at Sleeping Bear Dunes. Dune 3 it was labeled as we rolled up.
I know there's more impressive stuff here from the last time we were here, so we'll go find that. There's the rain over there. I think that's all moving away from us yet. Continuing to work our way around the scenic route. Beautiful in here. And it drops down in, and we'll be back up on top looking at more dunes here before too long. This is fresh. Stay left. That's probably from that storm that rolled through here a little bit ago. We go climbing back up on the dunes again. Pretty serious slope right here. So this is the dune climb, and you can get up top there and get some awesome views down at the lake. And you can, if you get on the dune on the other side, it's nasty, but this ain't happening today. Oh, it's gorgeous because of the lake, so I would highly encourage anybody to do it. We're just not doing that today. Not happening. That is a workout, climbing in that sand. You have your kids along, it's mandatory. View of the lake out there. We're back north of the dunes now, working our way up the M22. Heading up to the tip of the peninsula. And the lighthouse, I don't remember the name of off the top of my head. And then we've got a haul yet today. Got quite a few miles to cover. We'll get there before dark. It's all good. Along Lake Leelanau here, a couple minutes ago, we just passed the 45th, or crossed the 45th parallel, halfway between the equator and the North Pole. All right, we made it to the Grand Traverse Lighthouse, way up at the tip of Traverse Bay, North Point, I think it's called, the Leelanau State Park. And checking out the lighthouse, and we've got some miles to cover yet to get down to Traverse City and all the way back up to Petoskey yet tonight. So what are you thinking so far on the day? Rain, stay away?
Yeah, that would be good, but it hasn't been bad.
Nah, that was just a little adventure. We got lucky on that whole deal. Right, working our way south along the bay down to Traverse City. Here we go across the 45th parallel again. Heading back towards the equator. Not quite there. Working our way through Traverse City. It seems like a long way through this town when you come off the peninsula. Quite a bit of traffic. A lot of tourist activity in the whole peninsula, so just gotta have patience and roll with the flow. Well, a hot tip for you. If you're ever over here, skip Traverse City, especially anywhere near rush hour. I do kind of remember that from last time, but the traffic was horrendous getting through there. And it was 88 degrees and kind of cooking on the bike. Just basically stop and go traffic. It's a long way through there. Anyway, not whining about that. Don't do it. Other than that, we are on the east side of the bay now and headed north to Petoskey. We have 61 miles to go to our accommodations for the night. And we're just going to cruise up there, go find us some dinner. All right, what a great way to end the day. Made our way to the hotel in Petoskey, went out, had a very nice dinner. Had a complimentary limo service at a Holiday Inn Express. Go figure, but pretty nice way to tool down to dinner and come back to the hotel. So it occurred to me that because I had a microphone die coming in here after about 10 hours on the road, that I need to do a wrap up. So what a great day. And we started out with Arcadia Overlook and did the Point Betsie Lighthouse, Sleeping Bear Dunes, although we didn't climb the dunes. Been there, done that. It looked like a sweat fest today, so we passed on that. And then went up to Leelanau State Park, the tip of the peninsula, and did another lighthouse there. And I think the Grand Traverse Lighthouse, down along Grand Traverse Bay, through Traverse City, which, you know, skip that. That was nasty traffic, hot. Go around, I'm just saying. Unless there's something you're going in there for. But all in all, a great day. Tomorrow, we did something a little different. We've done the tunnel of trees, so we're probably not going to do the tunnel of trees tomorrow. There's been some washouts on that earlier in the year. Some of it's under repair. So I went to AI and I said, hey, help me out with a route. I want to do 150 miles or so between Petoskey and St. Ignace and take me on some great motorcycle roads. And it laid out a route. So we're going to go check it out and see how it goes. That'll get us up to St. Ignace a little earlier in the day. And we're going to go up there and hang out a little bit in the afternoon. We've got a nice hotel on the beach. A little bit of a short day tomorrow. We did 254 miles today. So not a huge day, but considering that a lot of those were pretty slow miles, we were on the bikes at 8 a.m. and rolled into the hotel about 6. So pretty good day all in all. And looking forward to another one tomorrow. So come on along with us tomorrow as we get into some of the hills of northern Michigan. Possibly take a ferry ride, we'll see. And cross the Mackinac Bridge. That'll be fun. All right, catch you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.